Hey there, Reverend Sully, Eric O'Sullivan, ordained on the internet. The caveat, as always, please do not burn your hands holding onto my hot takes. If you do, well, that's on you, pal, or gal, or anyone in between the parentheses of humanity, wherever you lie in the spectrum here. I'm doing my comic book of the week, and this pick is one of my favorites from being a teenager. It's 1989's Batman Blind Justice. This is probably flown under most people's radar. I was a weekly comic book buyer back in the day. This came out in 1989 around the same time of the Tim Burton movie. In fact, it's written, Blind Justice is written by Sam Hamm, who wrote the screenplay or helped write the screenplay for Batman 89. So, in conjunction with the Batman movie and also with Detective Comics number 600, we got Blind Justice, which is a really interesting story, and I'm pretty much convinced it flew under everyone's radar. I was bat crazy at the time. I mean, I had the t-shirt. I was mad about the movie. I was a weekly Batman buyer. I loved this stupid Prince soundtrack. If a man is considered guilty for what goes on in his mind, then give me the electric chair for all my future crimes. Hey, work, electric chair, you know. Yeah, you had to been there. This is Batdance, the somewhat ridiculous song that Prince did for the soundtrack. In addition to the Danny Elfman score, there was a complete Prince concept album made for the for Batman '89. So there were two soundtracks. There was the Elfman and the Prince soundtrack. I had them both on CD. It was big to have CDs back in '89, dude. But Blind Justice. This is the first appearance of Henri Ducard. Henri Ducard is the French detective who taught Bruce how to be a detective. So it begins these flashback scenes to younger Bruce trying to learn his trade. And Ducard shows back up in Gotham later on. Of course, he knows full well that, Batman is Bruce. He's a detective and taught him his craft. Henri Ducard comes up later on in the Christopher Nolan movies. That's Liam Neeson's character, who is a composite of Henri Ducard and Ra's al Ghul. And I say Ra's al Ghul, not Raish, not Raz. It's Ra's al Ghul. I'm a chef, and I know that we use an ingredient called Ras al Hanout, which means top of the shelf or head of the shelf. So it's we can bandy. It's one of the great comic book conversations. How to pronounce his name? Is it Ra's al Ghul? Is it Raish al Ghul? Well, in my humble opinion, it's Ra's al Ghul, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And but Blind Justice. This is a really interesting, dark tale. Batman meets a pretty girl, of course. Bruce does, and the pretty girl has a brother that needs help. So Bruce helps the brother out, brings him into the home. They're living kind of as a little bit of a family in a way. But there's a mind-swapping technology that's out there. There's a bad guy who's going out there and he keeps dying, but he keeps coming back. And apparently it's one person who keeps zapping his brain into someone else's body. So, Bruce gets injured, himself. So what he does is he convinces the girlfriend's brother to be his physical substitute. So zapping his brain into the brother's body so he can go on the hunt for this killer. And tragedy ensues. And Bruce actually, it gets screwed up that Bruce, his brain ends up in the big beefy bulky bodyguard assailant's body, and the brother returns to his body, in the Batman guise. And while Bruce's body is back at stately Wayne Manor, recuperating, and they get hit by a train. So Bruce, is basically feels what it feels like to be killed. It is really interesting. And then the girlfriend, of course, has to leave because, you killed my brother. This didn't go the way you planned it. And then Henri Ducard has to finish his contract, which is really interesting too, because, Batman's immobile and he's not around to stop his former mentor from fulfilling his mercenary contract. But yeah, it's penciled by Dennis Cowan. It's got some really weird looking art in here, and it's got a great looking Batman. And once again, we have these interesting captions in upper and lower case, which is kind of odd for a DC comic at the time, because everything's basically with the word bubbles and the dialogue bubbles rather, and the narrative captions. Everything's done in full caps. The whole mixing of upper and lower case got pretty popular in the Marvel Ultimate line. Just want to say that this is the quintessential 80s girl look. The bangs, the shoulder pads. If you know what a Nagel model was, Nagel had, was that Duran Duran cover for Rio. That was defined the 80s model look. And what a great looking Batman. I mean, and let's try to get a better, there's Ducard. He's about to, big Frenchman. There's Bruce. But what are you doing with that rifle? You can't kill people. And yeah, so so let's see, I just love a classic looking Batman. Yellow oval, yellow utility belt. The blue instead of black. Just very classic look. So if you can, I would suggest to you Batman Blind Justice from 1989, written by Sam Hamm and drawn by Dennis Cowan. Celebrated Detective Comics 600, and it's a pretty dark tale for the Dark Knight. And back from the Wayback Machine, when they were trying to get some corporate syzygy going, you had the screenplay writer of Batman, writing a few issues of Detective Comics. So, you know what? Why don't you leave a comment in the comments section? Tell me, what's your Dark Horse Dark Knight tale? What's your favorite Batman story that you feel doesn't get enough attention or popularity, that you think flew under everyone else's radar? Leave a comment in the comment section. Let's please continue this conversation. Give me a thumbs up if you like this kind of content. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't. I'm a big lad. I can handle it. And please, I would love to earn your subscription to my channel. I make daily content. I'm a spiritual person. I'm an ordained minister. We say let's get spiritual out here, and we try to remain hopeful and positive and try to share that message. Also, I am a professional chef. I want to give you restaurant-level cooking hacks so you can impress your loved ones with delicious, nutritious, and beautiful-looking food to share at your dinner table. Eating together is a blessing and should never be taken for granted. So enjoy this time we all have together, okay? And please, go and look up Batdance by Prince on YouTube, the full video. He's got this this look. It's half Batman, half Joker. And it's all nonsense. And it's not my favorite Prince music, but you know what? It was of its times, and so am I. So thank you so very much for tuning in and checking out my my comic book of the week. It's from my spinner rack. This is Batman Blind Justice, and go out and read it. It's there for you to enjoy, and I stand by this. But I stand by this recommendation. Thank you so very much for tuning in. God bless, good luck, and namaste. Cheers.